Hey y'all, happy Thursday, and I hope everybody is doing well. This election is making me kook. I have a bunch of shorts that I've been working on, and I got a comment. Well, I had to shut comments off because I started to get those troll people. They've been on YouTube for 2 years. They haven't produced anything. They don't even have a playlist. So they get on there to fuck with people. So, in my infinite wisdom, I'm like, remove, and just disable the comments, because like it, laugh at it, move on. If you don't like it, you don't laugh at it, fucking keep fucking scrolling. Okay? Too easy. Anyway, so yeah, I usually don't put comments on people's videos toward their content, toward the individual who made the content. I usually put comments to other people's comments, unless I like their stuff, and then I'm like, thank you for your content, or yes, totally agree, you're fantastic. So if I'm commenting on a content creator's video, I'm not commenting to be rude. I'm going to compliment them. However, if there's someone else that goes on there and is rude, I'm going to, yeah, that's the way I work. So anyway, I got this comment and I really didn't even know how to take it. I'm sitting there looking at it like, what does it mean? Another sheep in the flock. Now, I'm not, is it a flock of sheep or is it a flock of seagulls? I don't, what's a flock of sheep? I know it's herd. I know what a herd of sheep is. So when they said flock, I'm like, let's mull this over a minute. So my comment was, protected by wolves. Anyway, so I got this inspiring concept. Now, first of all, there are a lot of people in this country who are working around the clock. You got single people just trying to make rent so they don't have to live in their, parents' basement. So I was one of those people who worked 4 jobs and lived in an efficiency apartment. Yeah, because I didn't want to move back home. I was one of those. I know what it's like to struggle. And I also understand what it's like to, the only aspiration you have in your life at that given time is just to be independent and away from your parents. Which, consequently, doesn't leave a whole lot of time for social life, doesn't leave a whole lot of time for watching TV, doesn't leave a whole lot of time to browse YouTube, unless you get a job as a security guard, and that's all you have to do all night long, is sit there and desk scroll shorts, check IDs every few minutes or during the rush, and then back to desk scroll. I get it. There's, and a lot of younger generation are getting pretty savvy with their incomes. Like, they're getting into content creation. They're getting into what is it, where you sell t-shirts and merch and that kind of thing. God, it escapes me. My brain is just fried. I just got done from work, and I should have been home 2 hours ago. And I just walked in the door probably 10 minutes ago. And I probably got to be back to work tonight, so forgive me if I'm a little flaky at the moment. So I got this epiphany. I was watching the town hall with Trump in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, with Sage, and he was talking about some of the policies that he wanted to implement, through the, the tax cuts and, things like that to try to help the American people with a better income type of thing. Because this is a capitalist society. It's a capitalist government. We are corporate America. We are a constitutional republic, but it is corporate America. And if I had my friend Chip here, he could probably go into detail quite extensively on how it is that everybody should be sovereign, and that your birth certificate has a serial number on it, which basically gives you the right to borrow against yourself, kind of thing. And yeah, mind blown. If there's any lawyers that run across this, I'm pretty sure that they can probably fill you in on the skinny on that. Yeah, they should probably create a podcast that's for the layman, so we can all understand it. But yeah, it exists, and yes, there is a way, but you have to have the brain power in order to implement it. Like, there is a way that I could get out from underneath my mortgage right now and declare that it is already paid. I could. I just don't know how to do it. Anyway, so moving on. I was thinking about all the policies and stuff that they were coming out with for, like, student loan debt. And I sat there thinking, why the fuck are we paying interest on student loans? Why? That alone. So, let's say, for example, Dr. Snuffy over here been paying on his student loans for 20 fucking years. Okay? Most doctors have $400,000 about in debt when they get done with graduation. But those student loans accrue interest while they are going to school. Why don't we eliminate that? If they're going to pay it, then it should be no interest. So, let's say they paid it the whole time that they were going to school. They made a payment on it. What should happen is that interest, by the time they finish school and they graduate and given proof of actual completion of the degree, all that money that they paid into interest while they were in school should be taken off of the principal. Or eliminate the interest altogether and give them a minimum payment. It's like, no, we're not going to. The deferment thing, should you do the deferment, that the very lowest interest practical to man should be applied through deferment. So, your loan, due to you stalling it, basically saying, I can't pay this, defer me for 36 months. When your loan goes into deferment, then it will accumulate interest. However, if your loan is being paid while you are in school, it should have 0 interest. Too easy. All persons who currently hold loans that are more than 20 years old, the interest that has been paid into these loans should be forgiven and applied to the principal of that loan. And interests accumulations on the deferments need to be readjusted and balances reconfigured upon giving that recoup. Because doctors are technically slaves to the occupation based upon how much they have to borrow for their education and the interest that accrues over the 6 to 8 year period that they are committed to their education and their residencies. There has got to be something. If you have an occupation that's short in the United States and you need to get a student loan in order to do the education to fill that occupation, I think there should be interest forgiveness there too. You don't have to pay the damn student loan off, but you could at least cut these fucking people a break. Accumulated interest, all you're paying on it the entire time you're in school is the interest. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. The way the interest rates on mortgages and or any kind of loan in this country is so astronomically fucked up that it enslaves people to the debt. And if you're enslaved to the debt, that leaves less money for you to spend in this capitalistic environment in order to buy product and or eat and or survive, pay rent, do home improvements, what have you. Stay healthy, be in the workforce longer. It's like the society as a whole has put everybody into a catch-22. They make the shitty food cheap and the good food expensive. Right now, the interest rates are through the roof. Not only is inflation just gas is ridiculous. Food prices are ridiculous for most people. Now, I'm not struggling. I kind of got my little duckies in a row, and I'm kind of proud of myself for that. But for the average person, penny pinching is an art. It is something you learn. You either got it or you don't. You either raised in a household where you watched your family struggle and you learned little tricks of the trade, or you will struggle for the rest of your life because you don't know how to go without and or improvise where necessary. I'm trying to think of, like for example, when the Rona vacation came into play and everybody raided all the toilet paper, my very intelligent sister, who does not prep like I do, so everybody else is struggling for toilet paper, I had a stockpile. Okay? She's the type of person that buys what she needs when she needs it. However, in the same accord, everybody's tripping about the toilet paper. There was none left. What did she do? She went down to the house goods, household section, went to dollar store, bought those multi-pack of washcloths, like 24 of those cheap-ass washcloths in a package. She bought a few of those and extra laundry soap. In a miniature hamper. So she was like, I guess I'm buying washcloths and laundry soap. You know, you do what you gotta do. My daughter has a bidet. It's a removable one. It's kind of like one of those ones you get off, as seen on TV kind of thing. Yeah, she's like, it's wonderful. You need to get one. I was like, you go, girl. It's her husband's. He grew up with one in this house. His dad's an ER doc. He came from money. And if he's got to rent while he's going to medical school, he's not going to give up his luxuries. So they've got one. My daughter was like, I didn't know how to take it at first. And then, yeah, I kind of like it, she says. I was like, okay, good for you, kid. So anyway, been watching this election stuff. And it amazes me that demographically and sociologically, what I see, because I drive around all day long, and I go to various different neighborhoods, and some neighborhoods are affluent, like they are bleeding fucking money, and there's other neighborhoods where they're poor as shit. And, they came into a few extra $100 or a couple thousand, or yeah, we're going to improve this house kind of thing, right? Or someone buys a rundown piece of shit like mine and they're remodeling it. So I go through these neighborhoods when I'm in my mixer and I take note. How many Trump signs are out there and how many Harris and Biden signs are out there? And here's what I'll tell you. I don't know if it is the economic ignorance or if it's, I don't know, but here's my observation. Hoity-toity put together, Trump. Majority. There's a house, there's one section in Hendersonville, and that cracks me up. Because the house sits here, perfectly manicured lawn, nice cars in the driveway, Trump sign in the yard. 2 houses down, unkept yard, house needs a new roof, shit box in the driveway, their driveway needs to be redone. Harrison Biden. Or Biden. Whatever. They were Biden. Now they're Harris. Yeah. Same house. Totally Democrat to the core. No concept of who it is that's actually running under that political party. I don't know if it is so much Trump derangement syndrome as it is Republican derangement syndrome. Now, my sister, I don't think she's ever voted until this last election. So she's kind of clueless as to what exactly is going on. Now, the only advice that I can give for anybody out there, and if you can find somebody who actually talks plain and doesn't beat around the fucking bush 9 times before they give the fucking answer, which is the only thing that I really appreciate about Trump. You ask a question, he gives a very brief monologue or prologue to the idea and then gives a direct fucking answer. It's not hard. It's not hard. I did a video on the question that Kamala could not answer at a town hall meeting with a bunch of Hispanics, where the question was asked in Spanish, and it was basically how you can fix the medical system. From the hip, me, as a generic concrete mixer operator, could answer that question. I, not a politician, I don't plan on being one either, could answer that question. Honestly, Trump could answer that question. And he's explained the situations. We've done this. We've tried this. We've looked into this. That administration, he doesn't know. It was like basically like 93 out of 99 executive orders they threw out the door as soon as they got into office. Biden and Harris did. The border was one of those. I can't blame her entirely, but I can blame her in contribution. Because that was his intent also. This Democratic person is not the same Democratic person as Clinton or Carter or JFK or Al Gore even. This Democratic Party that we are dealing with right now is so internally corrupt, and the policies are so deranged. The perspective is deranged. The ideals are delusional. The concepts of economics and financial stability are just la la land. Like that's a fairy fucking tale. And it is all by design. Now that's the conspiracy theory. It's all by design. Well, I mean, if you really are concerned about your own personal well-being, look at what's happened in the last 3.5 years. She's been in the shadows and or the driver's seat of this entire administration for 3 years. And it went, even with COVID, I can honest to God say, COVID, the gas prices went up a teeny bit because everybody was, quarantined and staying home. They had to make up the difference somewhere. So going from $100 or $1.85 a gallon to $2.25 a gallon during COVID to make up the difference for no cars on the road purchasing the product. I get it. All balance out. Anyway, especially my big ass truck. Oh yeah, I'm a gas guzzling fucking bitch. Anyway, so understanding that, me still being at work where others are actually sitting home, me doing 16 hours a day as opposed to 12. We had guys actually who have 18 wheelers, and when port dry, which is train cars, the Connex is kind of like the port, the strike thing. Well, when those trains came in, what they do is they just lift them up and they put them on these, open rack systems. That's what my friends haul. When the pandemic had put them basically on a haul freeze, it's like trains aren't running, right? As much. So they've lost work. Those guys came back to us. They jumped in a piece of shit mixer and they're like, we'll help you out for a few months. We were running our asses off. Some industries were booking. Other industries fell flat. Now, there are so many different policies that I can get into details with regarding this. But the one thing that everybody needs to keep in mind when they are voting is one, do they identify policies that you align with? And if they don't mention, like every time this woman's been asked, so how do you plan to do something? She doesn't fucking, there's no clear and concise answer. Ever. You have no idea what she's got up her sleeve. Where it's time to turn the page. Okay, what's that page going to say? And then I start thinking of that friggin' movie, The Shining, where the guy was supposed to be writing a book, and all he ever wrote was, what is it? Makes John a dull boy. All work, no play makes John a dull boy. Repeated over and 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 over again. We, as a country, not just me, I mean, I'll be fine going another 4 years with dumb bitch if I have to. Because of what I do for a living. And my connections all over the country. So I have options. Should something happen. However, there's a lot of people out there who cannot. And when my sister had told me that she had voted for Biden, and me being disgusted with her choice, I don't think she was taking into account to look into all of the details. She just has Trump derangement syndrome. Whereas there's people in this environment here, they have Republican derangement syndrome. They don't even know, they don't even realize, honest to God, that Trump used to be a Democrat. He was besties with JFK Jr. They don't know their history. And they don't know how to predict economics. And they don't understand capitalism at all. That's why hoity-toity over here with the groomed lawn has a Trump sign, and the guy across the street looks like he's barely making it day to day. It's got the Harris sign. That's the demographics that I see. Those are the patterns that I see. And it's truly sad. Take a look. Observe the surroundings. Take note. I'd like feedback. Has anybody else seen this shit? Because that's what I see. When I look around the shitty neighborhoods, everybody wants Biden and Harris. What have they done for you? Nothing. Everybody who's living high on the hog and they got these giant mini mansions and luxury cars in their driveway. They got Trump signs in their driveway. Trump van signs in their driveway. And shit, the biggest house that I poured for in the last year is friends with the owner of where I work. Yeah. Their fence said, this house identifies as non-binary. Mic drop. Oh yeah, it's huge.